Action. Hello, it's Kembra Pfahler. And this is the Manual of Action. Synchronicity. This week's course in the Manual of Action is Synchronicity. How to write a song. I'm going to share with you my methodology, how to write a song. Basically, I'm going to give you the paradigm for how to create a classic, let's say rock song. You could use this in rap, you could use this in folk music, you could use this for any genre that you like. Let's start here. How to write a song. The straight lines represent a verse. The squiggly lines represent a chorus. Straight lines, verse. Chorus, verse. The X's represent solo, and then we have, again, I'm going to do this a little bit smaller for you. Start out with verse. Chorus, squiggly lines. Verse, chorus. Verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, out. How to write a song. Verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, out. What does verse chorus mean exactly? In this instance, in the Manual of Action, let's say a verse represents the telling of the story. So you're going to have 4 lines of storytelling. The chorus drives the story home with some repetition. So, in other words, if you're telling a story about a tree that's growing. The tree is planted. The tree is green. The tree needs water. The tree has grown. So you've got 4 lines with the storytelling. The tree is planted, the tree is growing, the tree is blossoming, the tree has 4 lines of storytelling. Then with the chorus, you're going to drive the story home with a chorus. Tree grow, tree grow. You're going to use some repetition here, and then you're going to tell the second part of the story. So use any kind of story that comes to mind. In the beginning of our practice in the Manual of Action, we spoke about doing 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing. For this synchronicity exercise, how to write a song, why don't you think about what's going on in your daily activity? What's going on in your mind predominantly? If you have problems with finding subject matter for a song, refer to your daily writings that you've done, your 3 pages. But don't put pressure on yourself when you're trying to write a song. Just let it come naturally. There shouldn't be any kind of perfectionism when you're writing your song. It was really helpful to me, oddly enough, to have this chart in front of me with these squiggly lines and the straight lines. Again, how to write a song. Synchronicity. Verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, out. How to write a song. This has been the Manual of Action, and my name is Kembra Pfahler. Thank you for joining this class. Why don't you think about your favorite movie, the first film that you ever saw when you were growing up? Why don't you go back to your own history and your own childhood memory of the first film you ever saw? Why don't you revisit that as an exercise this week? Mine was a film called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It was my first exposure to the supernatural and magic and phantasmagoria, fantastic activity through film. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was my favorite. So why don't you think about what your favorite film was growing up? And that's going to be your exercise this week in the Manual of Action. You can all reach me on the Telegram channel if you've got any questions. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a nice day.